Hi everyone, so the real-time chat app tutorial continues, and currently we're on episode 3. And in this episode, we are going to be sending out friend requests. In this time, we are going to send out friend requests to fellow users on this application. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about now. So you click on this icon, the third icon. So now you can easily send out friend request by clicking on this add button. Once you click on the button, you just sent out a friend request. You can decide to cancel the request if you want to. You can send, you can cancel. So we are going to cover this aspect in this episode. So without further ado, we are getting started right now. So currently you have to go link your, so right now you have to link your template to your URLs you get. So so for you guys here now, go get the source code. The source code is on sale on Seller. So if you're in Nigeria, the source code will cost you 3,500. If you're outside Nigeria, the source code will cost you $6. So for you to follow along easily, get the source code so you can follow along, you understand? So that's it. So right now, I was saying before, we need to connect our templates. So now right now on my app here, here's my views.py file. So if I scroll down, I have this suggestion. This right now, this is the view that renders out this page you see here, you understand? So this is the view. So now this view here, so just link up your view to the proper URL. So right now the URL mapping is over here. This is the URL mapping, this suggestion here. Once you've done that, now if you go down to your chat app, go down to your index.html index. Where is that again? Under, yeah, just here. Open this now. So you have to link. I think this is too big, right? So let me make it smaller. So okay, now you have to link. Where is it? You have to link this URL mapping to this icon. Understand? This is the icon over here. So go get the source code so you can follow along. You understand? So this icon, which is over here. So this is the icon. Understand? So right now, here's our own application. One we are working on. So this one you see here is what I've done before. So the one we are working on currently, here is it. So this is it. I'm going to log in as a different. Let me log in as Ramos, or let me just log in as, I think Mary. That's what we have currently. So login. So Mary is logged in now. So if I click on here, so we are on this suggestion page where we can send out friend requests. And if you check closely, this is dummy data. Nothing is happening currently. So we need to make this work. You understand? So and on this page, we want to only be able to see those people that are not our friends. Understand? We want to only be able to see the people that are not your friends, but they are also on the platform. Understand? So we want to be able to see the users who are not your friends yet, but they are also on that platform. So that we want to render out those users on this page. So once you have them, you can easily send them friend requests, and once they accept it, both of you becomes friends on the platform. Hope you get. And also for the source code, you'll find a link to the source code in this video's description, or you can also find the link in the pinned comment. Hope you get. So right now, let's get to business right away. So on my views.py file, okay, yeah, where are you? The views.py. Let me look for it. Okay, it's here now. Okay, here we are now. So let's hide this. Okay, so currently on the views.py file now. So this right now, this is the suggestion view. This view is responsible for rendering out this page you see here. And I said before, we want to render out those users that are not your friends yet, you get. So that's what we want to render out. So I'm going to explain this thing line by line to you now. So first of all, now we have to get the actual model we are working, because currently we are working on the default user model. So this get user model helps to get the current user model we are working on. Understand? So we can either be working on the default user model, or we could customize the user model. So this get user model helps to get the current user model you are using, and currently we are using the default Django user model. So I got that here. So this user equal to, so this second line now represents the logged in user, and on this line, this profile line, this represents the profile. This represents the profile that has this user. You understand? So we're trying to get the profile whose user is the logged in user. Oh, we did here. And over here, we have to render out all the friends of this profile. On this profile friends you see here, we have to like query the friends, all the friends that belongs to this current profile that is logged in. Hope you get. And after we've done that, so I'm going to remove this for now. After we've done that now, we then have to filter out those users who are not friends with the current logged in profile. That's what is happening on this suggested friends here. So we have to query out those users who are not friends with the current logged in profile. So I'm going to explain to you. So we have all user.object. So all user represent the user model. You know, so instead .object.exclude. So we are trying to get those users who are not. So that's why we are using the exclude here. So we then add to now. If we check closely, let me open this model and then show you what I mean here. So you have the model.py file there. So we did. I need to break this. Let's see if it's gonna break. Okay, it's broken. Okay, I need to like so let me explain again. So I'll say now this all user represent the current user model we are using. Then .object.exclude. So we are trying to get those users who are not friends. That's why we're using the exclude method. So we then have to say profile underscore friend. So if you check closely, we have to link to this profile model. That's what we have here. And then we have to get down to this friends attributes, this friends field we have here, and we have to do underscore. So we have to, what we did here now is we are trying to get out those users who are not friends with the current logged in profile. That's what we are doing here. So this profile you see here is coming from this model name profile, and this friends you see here is coming from here. And we are trying to say that if these friends are in this, if these friends are in this profile underscore friends, which we declared on line 92. So if these users are in this profile underscore friends, which is just above the suggested friends, if they are among, we are going to simply exclude them. And also we also have to exclude the current logged in profile. So that's what we did here. So once we do this now, we are going to simply, so this profile you see here, this profiles is presenting this user model we linked here. Hope you understood. So I'm going to say it again now. So what this line does now is just simply we are just trying to get out those users that are not friends with the current logged in profile. How what this line 93 is doing, we are trying to just filter out those users who are not friends with the current logged in profile. That's it, you get. So once we've done this now, we can then render out this on this page. You understand? So if you check now, we have to pass this to the context. You understand? Pass this to the context and then you can render it. So for you now, just go down to your own code base where you are working on currently, and then you have to go add multiple users. Just create you can create like up to 5 new users so you can test with this thing you get. Okay, so as for me, I have added up to 5 new users. Understand? So okay, once I've done that now, I need to go down to this page now. So here are we. So where is it called? It's called suggestion, right? Suggestion. There is it. So get the source code so you can follow along with me. Understand? Getting the source code, you're also supporting the channel. You understand? That's it. So now okay, we are here now. So once to loop through. Where are you? Once to loop through this X friends. That stands for suggested friends, right? So once loop through them now. Okay. So okay. Remember, this is linking down to the user model. We are linking down straight to the user model, not the profile model. Instead, we're linking down straight down to the user model and not the profile model. Hope you get. So it says X friends now. Okay, now so you just need one of these guys. Let me just find where it ends. Okay, you just need one of it. So just say for friend in X underscore friends. So copy this, Ctrl X, paste inside here. So I'll simply comment out these guys. Okay, refresh the page. Oh, we are not logged in, so that's a problem. So I'm going to make sure it says you're not logged in. Okay, so let's see. We're not logged in currently, so let's log in. I'm going to log in as Mary. So click on this icon. So you can see all the friends. These are the new users we have now. So I'm going to put in their rightful name. So where we have Kyle, I'll just say friend.username, friend.username. Okay, perfect. Now you can see now these are all the users who are not friends with who do we have here? This should be Mary. So I need to go onto this page now. Here we have John. So I just put in the requests. That's the dummy data. Request.user.username. And up on chat here, I'm going to put in the link to the index page instead. So just say URL and then index. So let's see if it goes. Refresh. What is it saying? It's trying to say we are not logged in, but we are logged in. So let's see again. Let's log in as maybe this time. So log in. Okay, click back here. So you have maybe here. Okay, go. So come back here. Back again. Okay, now these are all the users who are not friends with Mary. Mary is the current logged in user. So now Mary has a choice of sending these users a friend request. By clicking on each of these buttons, she can send each of these users a friend request. So we're going to use a little JavaScript here to send this request. Understand? So right now I'm going to simply create a new view function that's going to accept this. That's going to accept it. So we are going to send this user ID, each of them. So if Mary clicks on Sam, she's going to send the user this Sam's ID to the backend. Understand? So we are going to create a view that's going to accept this ID in the backend. Understand? So that's what we want to achieve right now. We get. So let's say Mary decides to go with Julie. She could just click on add friend, and Julie's ID will be sent to the backend for processing. You get. So we want to go create that. We want to go create a view that's going to receive each of these users ID instance. So let's go to that right away. Okay, so right now we have the view that's going to accept the user's ID. We have the view that's going to accept the user's ID once it's being sent. You get. So, and here's also the URL mapping. So right now we also have the URL mapping for this view. So before we get down here, we need to let's test our buttons first. So I want to add a little bit of JavaScript here. So whenever I click on any of these buttons, I want to make sure that these buttons are all working. So let's add the JavaScript right away. So over here on the template, just scroll down. I'm going to clear this. I don't need it again. So on the template, I think I'm on the right place. Just inside of the end block, let's put a script tag there. Script. So now I need to pick up all this. I need to pick up these purple buttons. I want to pick all of them. So I want to see what their class name is called. So okay, from what we have here, the class name of this purple button is called it's called add btn. Add is also called confirm and add. So I'm going to go with the add btn. So these are two different classes. Confirm is a different class, add button is a different class. I'm going to go with add and delete. So right now I'm going to paste this over here. So it should be add, and so right now what this line does is that this line helps to pick up all the buttons. This helps to pick up all the purple button we have on the screen, all the purple buttons. That's what the first line does. Right, so you can see we are doing we say document.query selector all add buttons. So we are picking up all the buttons with the class name of add btn, and also we are doing the same thing. We are picking up all the cancel button with the class name of .delbtn. So the second line we have here picks up all the delete button, or the remove button rather. Hope you get. So what we want to do now, I want to make sure that whenever we click on any of these buttons, an action takes place. So let's do that right away. Okay, so what we have here now, so now for this for loop now, I'm simply looping through this add btn button. That the add btn button, this add underscore btns represent these purple buttons. So I'm looking through them so I can have access to these buttons individually. Hope you get. So now once I do have access to them, I then add to then add a click event. So whenever the button is being clicked on, this function gets executed. Hope you get. So whenever the button gets clicked on, this function, I'm going to create the function right now. So what we have so far now, so here's the function. So whenever we click on any of those buttons we have here, this purple button, this function called send friend request gets executed. Understand? So let's try that now. So right now, whenever we click on the button, we have to console.log e.target. E.target refers to the button we are clicking on. It represents the item you clicked on, and the item we are clicking on is this purple button. Understand? So let's try it now. I'm going to open my console so you can try things out. So here's my console now. So I'm going to click on one of the buttons now. It's not working. I'm going to check what the problem is right away. Oh, sorry, it was my mistake. I forgot to reload the page. I forgot to reload my page. You know, I added a new JavaScript code into this template, and I forgot to reload the page. So click on the first one. You can see now. You can see, like, once I clicked on it, it's consoled out the button in the on the browser's console. So I'm going to click on the second one. The same thing is happening. The same thing is happening. You can see now. You can see our function is working in JavaScript. So the goal now is I want to make sure that whenever you click on this button, we want to send the ID of this user to the backend. We want to send the ID of each of these users. So if I click on Sam, I want to send Sam's ID to the backend. So we are going to send the button to this view you see here, and we are going to send it through this URL that we created, that we made for the view. And so we are going to use the JavaScript fetch API to send this from the front end to the back end. So let's do that right away. So right now, search for fetch API in the browser. Fetch API. Click on the first link. Click on the first link. Okay, so we are on the page now. So click on using the fetch API on the left panel. Click on this link on the left panel. So on the right now, you see uploading JSON data. Click on it. Okay, we just copy this section of the code. Copy this. I'm going to use this to send data from the front end to the back end. You get. So copy it and come over here. Where's our template? So on this page now, I'm going to simply just paste this snippet of code here. Now explain what everything is doing. Okay, now so through this now we're going to be able to use this code, this one we just copied now, to send data from the front end to the back end. Understand? So first of all, we need to go get our URL. I'm going to say let URL. So we are going to send this data using this URL we created here. You know, we have the URL for the view, for this view you have here. So I'm going to use this through this URL. I'm going to use this now. I'm going to use this name. I'm going to use this name. I'm going to use this value over here now. So copy that. Let's be fast about it. Okay, now so we are going to pass the data through this URL to this view. Through the URL to the view. So I'm going to pass the URL here. So I'm going to remove this dummy URL. Remove this dummy one. So that's what we have there. So the data we want to send to the backend is coming from here. Let me just show you. So where are you coming from? Okay, this is, you can see where the data is coming from. This JSON does signify. So right, this is what we are trying to send to the backend. Understand? This is what we are trying to send to the backend. So we are not done yet. So I'll still keep showing you now. So if everything works well, we are going to have this printed out. So we are going to have this console in the browser's console. Understand? So this result you see here is all we have here. This it's going. This result you see here, it's going to come from the back end. It's going to come from the back end to the front end. That result you see here, this result you see here is whatever we pass in here. So currently we're just passing. So currently on this view, we're just passing a simple string. It could be anything as far as it's JSON serializable. You understand? So this is all you see here. It's whatever value that we have in this JSON response we have here. Hope you understood now. So once we've done this now, so you can see now we are trying to send this data to the back end. Hope you get now. This data you see here, we are trying to send. But currently now, this data, this data we have here is just there. It's simply a parameter. There is no value for it. Hope you get. So that's where this comes in now. So we are going to call this is a function, right? We are going to call this function inside of this send friend request function. So you can see right now, you can see we have this data over here. This data you see here serves as a value for what we are trying to send to the back end. We are going to put these guys now. We're going to Control X them and paste them inside of this function. And we're going to provide, and right now this data, we're going to provide value for data. Remember this data I told you, you can see it's there from here. This is a parameter. That's the same data we have here. And when the function was called, the function is being called inside of this send request function, send friend request, right? So now we're going to get the value for data and then pass it here. So we're going to say data should be equal to, we're going to say e.target. Remember that e.target refers to the item you are clicking on. So now let's proceed. So I'll say now, so we want to send the ID of the user you clicked on, the ID of whichever user you clicked on, right? So remember now we are going to store the ID inside of these buttons. Inside of each of these buttons, we're going to store the ID there. So I'm going to share how I'm going to show you how I stored this ID. So just scroll up to where we have the buttons. This is where do we have the button again? Okay, you can see this is where we have the button here. Data ID should be equal to. I'm going to explain what is happening. Paste this here. So now this data. So what now? This data ID. So this ID this is just like I tried defining a custom attribute called ID. Remember in our HTML we have attributes like classes, attributes like IDs, and some other. Understand? We have attributes like class. In HTML we have attributes like class, attributes like SRC, like your source. So currently I defined a custom. I just declared a custom attribute called ID, and I passed the value to be, the value now is currently friend.id. You understand how the value is? You get now. So I want to get the value of this ID and then send that value to the back end. You understand? So the value of the ID is this friend.id, right? So I want to get this friend.id and then send it to this view for some processing. So let's start right away. So just try to see, I'm going to say e.target. That refers, e.target is simply referring to the button we clicked on. Now I'm going to say .dataset.id. Remember we have this ID attributes here. Maybe use it again. You can see now. So if you want to declare a custom attribute in your HTML, you have to just put in data then hyphen the name of the attribute you want to set. You get now. So for instance, I'm going to say e.target.dataset.id. This is going to give us the value. It's going to give us the value of this ID attributes we declared. Hope you get. So now that's it now. So once we've done this already, so now we have our data now. Remember we are calling this function inside of this other function we have here, and we are going to pass this data as the argument. You can see this data you have it over here. This is the argument, right? How we are passing here. You get data, it could be anything. Once if I call it something else, I'm going to pass that thing here. So this is going to be the value of this parameter that has been used, that is being used over here. Hope you get. So I'm going to just call this data and then data. So right now we can now send the IDs of each of these users to the backend. You understand? You can send it to the backend right now. So we're going to confirm something. We are not done. If I click on, let's refresh the page. Refresh this page. Click on add friend. We're having an error. The error is saying 403 forbidden. That's because we need to also add a CSRF token. Remember, whenever you're making a post request in Django, most time we always add a CSRF token, especially in our forms.py, especially when we are using the forms. So right now we're also making a post request. So we check closely. We're also making a post request to the server. This is a post request. Where is it again? method is this is a post request. You can see this method over here is a post request. So we need to also specify our CSRF token. So I'm going to show how it's done. So just go down to your browser and just search for Django Ajax CSRF token. So once you are here, click on the first link. I said. So it's coming up. Okay, so just scroll down. Okay, you can see this function you have here. Copy this function. Copy this. Copy. You can decide to paste this function in your what's it called? Right in this your template called suggestion.html. But for me, I prefer to paste this. I prefer to paste it in my base template. I prefer to have it there. So just come over here to the base template. I'll scroll down, and then just put in a what's it called again? The script tag here. And I paste it just here in my base template. It's going to just remain in my base. Remember, the other templates are our other templates are inheriting from the base template, so they are going to have access to this function because they are inheriting from the base templates. Once I've done this now, I'm not done. I'll come over here again, just scroll down a bit. We need to also add this in the headers. We need to add this part in the headers. Just copy this, Ctrl C. Come over here now. So you're right now in this suggestion.html under the headers now. Just add this snippet. Okay, I think we are good to go. So the browser now, just refresh the page. When you click on add friend, you can see it's going. It's saying it's going, right? So you can see now, if everything goes well, we are going to have this. We're going to have this session console out. It says console.log, then result. I told you that the result is coming from here. It's coming from here. It's going, right? That's what the result is going. That's where the result is coming from. I could just say it's given. Let me just say this. Understand? So once I click on it now, let me choose Jane. You can say it says it's given. Success is given. I told you now, coming from this part. So if everything goes well, if everything goes well, this session will be activated. But if there's an error, this session will be activated. Hope you get so right. Everything is working fine. So we want to have access to the ID we sent from the front end to the back end. You want to be able to access the ID we sent from the front end to the back end. So let's go get the ID on this view. Okay, so right now I'll paste this here. So you need to import JSON on top. So right now we've been able to get the ID of the user that was sent on the front end to the back end. Understand? So right now we have this data equal to JSON.load request.body. Request.body comes from here. This is the body we're referring to. Request.body. This is it here over here. So this body holds the data that was sent from the front end to the back end. So we don't need this user ID for now. We don't need it. So I'm going to remove it. So if I decide to print data, and I say print data, we are going to see the ID. So now let me just refresh this page. So click on any of these. Now we click on Sam. It's worked. Let's check what it printed. You can see it printed out 6. If I click on Jane, let's see what it printed. It printed out 3. So right now we are able to access. Right now we are having access to the IDs of these users. So now what we are going to do now, we are going to create a model called friend request. So whenever we receive a new ID, we are going to simply create a friend request object instance. So let's add the model right now. Okay, so right now here's the model. I just copied and pasted this now. So you can see the model is called friend request and it has 3 fields, but majorly we are using just the 2. We are using just the first 2 fields, sender and receiver. So whenever the logged in user clicks on this, we are going to have a friend request created. Understand? So you will check from here. From what we have here, the sender is a logged in user. The sender is that user that sent the friend request. Understand? Why the receiver is the user that was clicked upon the receiver is the user that was clicked upon. You understand? So right here, all we have now, we have the sender and the receiver. They are both users. So once you have your friend request model, make sure you make migrations. You migrate and also register this model in your admin.py file. So over here in my views now, I'm going to let me remove this print. So in my views now, currently I'm getting the user model. I say user should be equal to get user model, which is the current user model we are using. So currently we are using Django's default user model. That's what we are using currently. So I then said receiver should be equal to user.object. This user we have here refers to what we just did up here. User.object.get ID equal to data. Remember, our data is the ID that was received from the front end. Our data. So I'm getting the user whose ID is equal to this data, and then on this line here, I am then creating a friend request, and saying friend request.object.create, friend request.object.create. Sender should be equal to the logged in user. Hope you get, and then the receiver is this, and the receiver is up here. Hope you understand. So once we click on this button again, a friend request object is created. Hope you understood. Okay, so let's try and see if everything works well. So the browser, refresh. Now click on add friend for clients. Click on it. You see success. That means everything goes well. So let's see the admin. Let's see what the admin says. So I want to log in. So log in as clients here. Log in. So let's see friend requests. You can see now it says Mary sends Clint a friend request. You can see it worked. You can see it's worked right. It's working. Okay, but we're not done here. But if you check closely on this page, whenever we send a friend request, I want to make sure that this button is grayed out. It becomes disabled. I want to make sure that the content of this button then says request sent. You understand? Whenever I click on any of this button, I click on, so right now if I click on this button again, you see it threw an error this time. Let's click on Jane. There's a problem now. What could be the problem? Okay, I guess, sorry. So click again. That's because a different user was logged in. So we click on Jane this time. It's worked. So if I keep clicking on Jane, it keeps sending multiple friend requests for Jane. So what I want to do next, I want to make sure whenever we click on this button, I want to make sure that this button becomes disabled. And I want to also make sure that the content then says the content. I want to make the content of the button. I want to make sure the content of the button becomes request sent whenever you click on it. So we can only send a request once. But currently we can send multiple friend requests to a user. That's wrong. It should only be once. No PK. So let's work on that right now. Okay, so we are here again. So now to the template now. So I'm going to paste some code block, some snippet of code under this console.log success. So if everything goes well, I want to make sure this btn refers. So now I'm going to put this right now. We don't have access to btn, so I'm going to simply declare btn as a parameter up there. And then whenever I call this function, post JSON, the function is called inside of this send friend request. So I'm going to pass in btn here. Btn, that's btn there. Sorry, it should not be there. That's wrong. So I've declared btn up here. So now whenever I'm going to, instead of here, I'm going to declare btn should be, I'm going to say const btn should be equal to e.target. So I'm going to simply pass in btn over here. So btn simply refers to the individual button we are clicking on. Hope you understood. So I would have done over here, I told you that e.target refers to the item you are clicking on. That's what I told you. So that's what btn is. So up here now I said btn. So btn.inner text refers to that. Btn.inner text simply says that the content of the button should become request sent. So understand request sent, and also I also added a new class name called disable to this button. This disable class enables the button to be not clickable. I'm going to show you the class right now. So I keep saying this, go get the source code so you can follow along. So this is the class now. Pointer event is none, so that button cannot be clicked again. Obviously, but this is the class here. So that's it. So now, so after I've done that now, I then out to make sure that the next elements, the next elements by that bit here, which is this remove button. So I have to make sure that the content of that element becomes cancel request. Remember, if you send a friend request, you're also going to have an option of canceling the request. Understand? You might send a friend request by mistake. You can also cancel the friend request. You have the option for you to do that. So that's why we have this cancel request over here, this session. Understand? So let's see if everything works. I hope it works. Browser refresh. So if I click on Jane, let's click on Sam. You can see now it says request sent, and this says cancel request. Instead, I see right now you can see I can't send another request to Sam. If I click on Julie, it says request sent. You can see now, and also says cancel. So I'm going to work on this cancel request later, but currently we are still on this. It says request sent, right? Sam. So right now, the logged in user Clint has sent two different friend requests. He has sent two friend requests, one to Sam, one to Julie. Hope you understood. So that's it. We're not done. We're almost done. The last part we are on now. And if you check the admin, let's see what the admin looks like. Click on friend request. You can see it says Clint sent Sam a friend request. Clint sent Julie a friend request. Understand? So everything is perfect. It's working fine. So we are not done. But one thing is this now. If I refresh this page, we are going to. This is going to. You know, this was added. This was added with JavaScript. If I refresh the page, we are going to lose these changes. So so right now I need to enforce these changes. This is what we have here with Django. Currently, it's still on JavaScript. If I refresh the page, these styles, what we added on these buttons are going to disappear. Let's see. So I need to enforce the changes with Django. So once I refresh the page, you can see Sam and Julie now, they are now free. So if I can send them in another friend request, which is not supposed to be so. So I need to make sure I enforce those changes with Django. Okay guys, as I said before, whenever we send a friend request, for example, I'm going to send a friend request to Mary. I already cleared out everything out in my database. I cleared them out. So I want to test again. Whenever I send a friend request, I'm going to send Mary a friend request right now. You can see I've sent it. If I refresh the page, you can see now it's still saying request sent. You can see it's working fine, right? It previously as when I refresh the page, it was going to return back to add friend, right? So I already did some filtering in Django, and I'm going to explain how this filtering works, guys. So right there, I'm using a template tags, which enabled me to use some custom filtering. You understand? So what I did is this. I'm going to explain everything step by step right now. So over here, inside of my chat app, I made a folder called template tags, and in that folder I created two files. The first one is init.py __ init.py, and the other file is called custom _filter.py, and this is that custom filter.py instance. So I had to import templates. I also had to add this register. So you can go and read more on Django template you can go and read more on how to make custom template tags in Django. So I'm going to explain what is happening here. So right now I have this function, and I had to put this decorator on top. So this function called if id in query set. So I have these two parameters, id and query set. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to check if this id exists in this query set. So what ID am I talking about? I'm talking about the ID that comes from, let me show you where it's coming from. The ID is coming from here. So we have this friend request here. So this friend request, and I'm trying to filter out all the friend requests belonging to the logged in user. Understand? So it says here friend request.object.filter. So I'm trying to get the friend request for the logged in user, and also the friend request which has all these suggested friends in it. Understand? Which has the suggested friend in it. Understand? Not all. It must not be all. As far as it has some of the suggested friends in it. Understand? So this friend request we have here, this device, I'm simply querying the friend request for the logged in user, which also consists of some or all the suggested friends we have up here. So I was saying now, so I said before, okay, this function you see, I'm trying to simply check if the receiver, so let me open the model so I can show what I'm talking about. I'm trying to check if this receiver in this friend request model, if it is in this query set, if it is there. So if it is there, this any function, this any method we have here returns true. It returns true. So please just go and read more about this, you understand it. So once you've done this now, I went down to the template now. So the template, so here what's what we did now. In the template, this is the function. This if id in query set, the function is over here. This is the function on the template. So the query set you are passing, the query set now, this is the value f underscore request, and it comes from our views.py file. You can see here from our views.py file, I passed in friend request to this f request. I told you that this friend request is simply the friend request coming from the logged in user, and also the friend request that also contains some of the suggested friends. So as I was saying before, this f request is simply this friend request query set we have here, which I passed just down here. Hope you understood. Yeah, this highlighted place where I highlighted now. So that's it now. This id, the id from the function, this id you see here is simply the friend id. This friend id comes from up here, from friend and friend, so it's simply the friend id. So it's trying to say that if we can find this friend id in this query set that comes from this function, then we are going to simply return this section of the code. Understand? It says, so if the id is in the query set, that means this user has been sent a friend request, so we can't send them twice. So we have to now apply this disable class on the button, and also change the content of the button to request sent. If this is true, we have to make sure the button is disabled, and then we have to change the content of the button to request sent. Understand? So if it is not true, the button remains the way it was. Hope you understood. And once you've done this now, you have to come to the top of the template. You have to come to the top of the template, and then you have to load the custom filter. You have to load it. You have to load the tag. Is a must load it. You must load the tag on the template you are using it on. Hope you understand me. You get? So that's how the custom template tags works. If you don't understand, just go read more about it. You can check out Django's documentation to read more and understand how it works. So now you see now, whenever I send a friend request now, you know, previously I showed you guys, right now I'm going to send a friend request to Sam. It has been sent. Now previously, if I refresh the page, these styles we added with JavaScript, going to disappear previously, but right now it stays. Right now it has been enforced with Django. If I refresh the page, you can see, so you can see it still remains the same. That means we can't send multiple friend requests to these users. You can only send it once. Hope you get now. So I really hope you do understand. So I think we are done with this episode. So in the next episode, we are going to work on canceling friend requests. I'm not sure yet. We might either work on canceling friend requests or accepting friend requests. So I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to get the source code. Get the source code so you can follow along with me easily. Subscribe and like the video to meet in the next episode. So stay blessed and bye bye.